Now, of course, back to cost of living, and another issue that I want to bring to your attention here is just about the reality. Not what they say, but what they do is when it comes to the cost of energy transition, something that will cost the best part of $1 trillion. And as we know, the federal government's going to put an extra $60 billion aside, but we'll never know exactly how much money they spent because it's all off budget and commercial in confidence to get them to the deal that they signed with the UN to get us to 80% renewables by 2030. But of course, the reality of all of that infrastructure that needs to be built is that you will either pay for it, as you are, $60 billion at least in brand new subsidies as taxpayers, or you pay for it with huge increases in inflation that come as a result of higher power bills. And we learned today that a record number of Australians are now struggling to pay their electricity bills and are actually now starting to fall behind. In fact, according to the people who run the energy system, we are now at the highest level in 5 years. I repeat, highest level in 5 years of people who are currently struggling to pay their power bills. Now, of course, one wonderful thing that may well actually be quite helpful when it comes to cost of living is people being able to hold on to more of their money and to be able to spend it on the basics that they want, the basics that they need. Their money, not the government's money. And as we know, there is a plan for the stage 3 of the tax cuts. Now, the stage 3 tax cuts are often dressed up as something that's just for millionaires and billionaires, but as you know, it goes all the way from anyone earning over $80,000 all the way up to, yes, the people who do earn an awful lot more than $80,000. But regardless of whether you're earning $40,000, $100,000, $500,000 or $1 million and above, it's your money. It's not the government's money. It's your money to decide to spend how you wish. So therefore, any opportunity to reduce the tax burden of the country, I well and truly support. And despite the fact that the federal government currently gets the best part of $600 billion in revenue that comes via individuals paying their taxes or companies paying their taxes or royalties, there are those who believe that the government should still be able to hold on to more of your money. And that even though both sides of politics passed a law to say you will get to keep more of your money into the future via these tax cuts, then these tax cuts should not be passed on. And one of the people who believes that is Monique Ryan. Monique Ryan, who represents a pretty wealthy part of Melbourne, is suggesting that giving people access to more of their money and the government not taking that money will somehow explode inflation. Now remember, this is the same logic that was put by the Labor government that turned around and said that a $1,500 tax return guarantee was being taken away from you so they could control inflation. Hang on, it's your money. Now they have an argument if they were turning around and producing a cheque for $1,500, meaning that you would end up with more money than you had before you started working. But a tax cut is not more money. It is the government taking less of your money. You are not ending up with $1 more than you were earning at the time. When the government turns around and just writes a $1,000 cheque on top of everything else, yes, that becomes inflationary. That becomes stimulatory. You holding on to your money, not quite. But perhaps the good doctor says that one of the reasons that the government's got to hold on to as much of your money as possible, the reason that taxes have to stay above $500 billion each and every year, is because, among other things, the government is so great at spending your money. Public servants apparently spend the best part of $100,000 on acknowledgements to country. This information via the digging around of whom we all hope to be the future Indigenous Affairs Minister of the country, the wonderful Jacinta Nampijinpa Price.